Hey guys, today we're going to switch it up a little bit, push the pause button on financial literacy, and I'm going to share with you some of my biggest life productivity hacks. But you got to come down to Texas with me to see them. Let's go. Hey guys, this is Dominique Henderson here, and today, like I said, we're going to share some of my biggest productivity hacks with you because I know that you probably have those conversations with your friends and family, and they ask you how you been, or you ask them how they've been, and it's like busy, busy, busy. And I'm busy too, but I feel that I get more done than the average person because of these productivity hacks. And I want to share them with you so you can be more productive in your days to come. So let's get started. All right, my very first productivity hack is simple. Get up earlier. I read this book by John Acuff, I believe, is called Start. And he talks about how when he was trying to work on his books and all this kind of stuff like that, he got up way earlier than what he would normally do, maybe like 2 hours or an hour ahead of his normal schedule. And the thing about it is no one was competing for his attention at that time. He had small kids, a family, blah, blah, blah. The same thing with me. I just walk into my study at 4 or 4:30 in the morning when no one's up, put my headphones on to kind of drown out all my distractions or would-be distractions, turn my email off, and just go right at it. So I call those push days, where I wake up maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours ahead of schedule just to get get a head start on my day and get some extra projects taken care of. Just think about it, if you add 2 hours on a 5-day work week, that's 10 hours. That's almost like a whole work day that you're getting. So you might have to get into bed earlier, you might have to adjust your schedule a little bit, but getting up early is my very first and most often used productivity hack. All right, you're gonna think I'm a little weird with this one because my wife definitely does, but whenever we're listening to an audiobook, I've already got the dial set to 1.5 times. That's right, 1.5 times speed, so that every 30 minutes of content that I'm supposed to be listening is just 20 minutes. I remember the first time that she noticed that I was doing this, she was like, "What are you doing? Why is this talking so fast? I can't really understand what's going on." Her brain hadn't made that adjustment, but all our brains are able to develop this muscle memory. So you might want to start at 1, obviously, and then go to 1.25 and then 1.5. And then sometimes, depending on the content, I crank it all the way up to 2 times speed. I know, I'm a nerd. I'm just trying to get more done with my day. And I'm going to tell you, when I save this 10 to 15 minutes, that's an extra meeting for me. Pretty much, I can throw in a couple of those a day, and I feel like I've been really, really productive. Again, I know that I'm a little nerdy, but this is something that you really should try, because after you get your brain adjusted, you're going to wonder why you were ever listening at 1 time speed. It's going to just seem so slow. On to the next productivity hack. All right, the next productivity hack is to just create an idea capture system, right? So your brain has limited capacity. It's just like a computer. When you start to put a lot of stuff on it, it will bog down. Now, if you had ideas that are running through your head like me, thousands a day possibly, you need a way to take it out of concept, between your 2 ears, and capture it so that you can come back to it later, which is what I do for a lot of my ideas. I want to show you the main system that I use for this, but we're going to have to do screen share. So let's move on over to the screen share real quick. So what you're looking at is my Trello board. Now, Trello is a free software. You can do several upgrades, and it's very powerful. So what I would recommend that you do is just to YouTube Trello, and you can see how to use it, because I'm not going to go through a tutorial of Trello. But the way it's organized is a board, then a list, and then cards. So on your board, think about this as like a whiteboard, and then each list would be a column, like for instance, to-dos for home versus to-dos for work. And then the cards would be like sticky notes, right? So just kind of think of it that way. And what I have on here is how my life is pretty much organized to run my businesses, to run my consulting practice, to run my home, all that kind of stuff. So that is not going to make a lot of sense to you unless I show you how to apply this. So let's just say today I'm filming this and we have to go take pictures. That's one thing we're going to go to do as a family today. So one card I would do is family picture task, right? Now, I'm just doing this. I won't do this normally for this type of task, but I just want to show you how this works, right? I can put a description in here. I can label the priority. I can put a due date on it so that it will remind me when this thing is due, and you can set this up to just send it to your emails. But let's just say I have several things to do, and I do have several things to do, so this is actually a pretty good thing. So I need to make sure that the batteries for camera are charged. I need to get tripod. I need to get the holder for my iPhone. And I have all these lists of things, right? So this is a really cool tool that I can use. And then when I'm done, I can just archive it. I can copy it. I can share it with somebody because it has its own little URL. So there's a lot of different uses here. And this may start to, I can see how someone can use this maybe for their family. You invite your family as members to the board, and then you can just kind of mention them in a particular comment or a card to let them know what their part is. And maybe, my wife needs to bring a extra whatever, right? So I can mention her on this card, and then she'll get a notification that I created this card, which is a real cool way. And then, like I said, after you're done with it, you can just archive it and you're done. But this is a way to organize yourself, right? So you're thinking about something, and I just pull my phone out, I create a card for it, and I create a due date for it, and I label it, and that way I can come back to the idea and flesh it out later. I use this to do on my podcast and my blog articles and everything. I have a whole nother board for content creation. We can talk about that in another video. All right, my next productivity hack is to use the cloud as much as possible. I know this seems like a no-brainer because the context is probably like the last 5 to 10 years, but I've been in industry for 20 years, and I remember the days, sorry mom, I apologize in advance for throwing you under the bus here, but I remember the days when I was working a job and I'd be doing whatever I was doing, and I get this random call from my mom, say, hey, do you have a minute? I'm like, sure mom, what's up? I've been working on this document for 15 hours and I just lost it, my computer crashed. And I'm like, Mom, why aren't you using the cloud like I talked to you about? But my mom was like, I don't want to hear about that right now. Just help me with retrieve my document. So I'm going back and forth with her on the other end of the line, trying to figure out where this document is, how she can recover it. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You can just use something like Dropbox Paper or Google Sheets if you need to have a spreadsheet, or Google Docs. I use all of them interchangeably. I probably like Dropbox Paper the most because you can just think about working on a document at home. Then, when you get to your destination, you can get the same document on your smartphone or your laptop or whatever. And then, all of the changes are going to be synced. You don't have to carry around those little flash drives. You remember those flash drives way back in the day? Those things that we used to use? I lost so many of those things and just really frustrated myself, let alone trying to just keep that on your local drive at home. You would never get anything done. So for all of you that have not used the cloud yet, including my mom, why not? Why not? What's the holdup here? All right, another productivity hack has to do with using video versus email. Now, what do I mean with that? I mean that if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then a video has to be worth 5 times, 10 times, maybe 20 times that, depending on the content that you're trying to convey. Even if you're the best writer, what they'll tell you is that sometimes there's some slippage, right? What you're trying to say and what actually gets conveyed can be 2 totally different things. Well, you can mitigate that by using video, right? Just think about, crafting an email, proofreading it, because you want to make sure it's right before you hit send, especially very long and important emails. What I've started to do, even with my clients in my financial services firm or with my coaching clients when I'm trying to convey a concept or demonstrate something, I'm going to show you this software that I use. That's you can use on a Google Chrome plugin, and just start recording what you want to say, attach that to the email, and voila, you're done. Let's take a look. Okay, so the other day, and as you guessed it, it's use Loom, right? So I'll have a link to all these software shortcuts and whatnot down below in the show notes. But the other day, I'm trying to create this budget for a person, yet to be named. The other day, I'm trying to create a budget for a person. I'm like, okay, how can I explain this in a way that makes sense and yada, yada, yada. So after I created the budget in the spreadsheet, I just recorded a video to show them what I was actually talking about. So let's shrink the screen. This was about my daughter. So she did, hopefully, hey Bria, love you. Hopefully you don't mind me throwing you under the bus with your budget. I'm just trying to prove a concept here. All right, so I shrunk myself. Now, this is how this can be powerful. So say you create a document like I did, and I'm trying to convey what column B means and what these line items mean throughout this spreadsheet and how to use it and all this other kind of stuff. That would be pretty hard to convey in an email, right? So why not just use a software like useloom.com and you can start recording a video immediately. Obviously you need a webcam, but this can be a really easy way to convey a concept that would otherwise take a lot of words to do and take a lot of time to do. Remember, we're talking about productivity hacks. How can you get more done in the day and not just feel like you've just been running on the hamster wheel and never got anything accomplished? And I would say if you're uncomfortable with video, just try it. You'll get comfortable over time. It doesn't have to be perfect either, right? You can there's all types of things that you can convey using this type of concept and shorten the amount of time that it takes to do that. Look, do me a favor. If this has been helpful or if you like some of the content, please give me a thumbs up or a comment below. I would love to hear from you, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content around personal development, economic empowerment, and financial literacy. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.